Hey everyone, Joe and Mike back for buildassetsonline.com. Today we're coming at you with a different episode. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to be able to see the screen, but if you're just listening, we will be able to portray the numbers the best we can. But we are going to be doing an income and revenue report for March 2020. We're going to be covering all of the assets that we have. There's a bunch of different things, different ways that we make income online. And we're just going to get right into it. So you're going to see the dropshipping stuff, the Kindle publishing stuff, the content site stuff. You're gonna see it all. And let's get started. So it's gonna
I'm pretty excited for this one because I don't think people understand the sheer volume of our portfolio, if that's what you want to call it. But today maybe they'll get an idea. And some of these are nothing to sneeze at. So.
Yeah, some of these are nothing to sneeze at, and it just kind of shows what's really possible, I think, when you get started online, and once you really understand what's going on, and you understand traffic, you understand conversion rate, you understand how to drive traffic and make sales, or drive traffic and make affiliate sales. It's all kind of it all starts to make sense, and you can apply it to a bunch of different areas, as we always say. So let's go to the first slide here. Wait. Okay.
No.
There we go. It's working. This is our first dropshipping store of the presentation. Read the numbers, Mike, for the listeners, and talk about it a little bit.
Sorry, yeah. So for those who are listening, store number 1 did 176,000 in sales, 176,606 and 16 cents to be exact. And so we had one big day that was 35,000. I'm not sure what happened on that day. I'll have to go back and check. But things really started getting hectic in terms of the virus. I'd say around the middle of the month, and so that'll be an important thing to look at for all of these screenshots is kind of the trend before and after. And this one, it was off to a good start, and then the situation hit, and it really didn't make it drop dead, but I think sales became a lot more sporadic. But there's still a lot of 5-figure days in there. So profit on this site is typically around 15% of gross sales after advertising and everything. So yeah, should definitely be over 20K, probably less than 30K profit.
Yeah. So we're looking at between 20 and 30 profit on this store?
Yeah, and we're not going to give you guys, direct profit numbers because it's just so much for us to calculate with all that we're doing. And the point here is, if we tell you the exact amount of profit that we make, it does nothing for you. And it takes us longer to do, but I think it's more important for you guys to highlight, for us to highlight for you what can actually be done. And I think you'll understand that, if you're hitting numbers like this, then hopefully you're doing good.
Yeah, I think our range is most appropriate here because the thing is sometimes the profits can change a little bit back. That's why it takes so long for us to calculate, because you say the next month we have someone that does a return or cancels an order from a previous month, and stuff kind of just blends in over the months. And that's why that's why we don't, it takes us so long to properly calculate all this. But so we're going to be talking historically, for the dropshipping stores, we talk historically the range of what we make on that typical store, the percentage of the revenue. And yeah, it's pretty consistent, right, Mike? 20 to 30% on this store with advertising?
15 to 20%.
Oh, 15 to 20%, sorry. So between 20 and 30,000 approximate profit on this store. All right, nothing to sneeze at.
Nothing to sneeze at, yeah, move on. But
right.
while you're doing that, hold on, I dropped my pen.
All right.
But, so 15 to 20% of gross revenue is actually pretty good historically compared to, some of the other stuff we have, because what you need to consider is a lot of times people say, oh yeah, you'll make an average of 10% to 30% profit on your products, but that's just on your products. You have to factor in advertising costs, shipping, whatever. And so if you're running a good ads account, hopefully you're getting 10 to 20 times return on ad spend. So for every $1,000 in revenue, you spend $100 or every $1,000 in revenue, you spend $50. That'd be 20. So, yeah.
So let's talk about
Just keep
this
that in
this
mind.
store. Then I'll say the number for the listeners, and then you can talk a little bit about it. So the number is $148,646.42. So, tell us the deal with this store.
So this was a store that we acquired back in 2018. We bought it for like $9,000, and since then, we've made some changes to it, done our thing. But this store usually does not do revenue like this. You'll see that once kind of the hysteria hit, the sales in this went way up. You can see it spiked to like 30,000 a day. And I don't know the actual profits that this is going to turn out to be, because we had a lot of warehouses actually shut down. So a lot of things did ship. Some of them did not ship. There's probably $30,000 worth of orders that did not ship, and customers are still willing to wait until things reopen. So that's a good sign. And we've talked about this in previous episodes where people freak out about like things going out of stock on their website. And, as long as you're being ethical and you're informing customers and, you're doing the right thing, you're not lying to them, then it's not a big deal. More customers will be willing to wait than you expect. So I don't know what the actual profit number is going to wind up being, because this is typically the first month it's ever done over 100,000.
Yeah.
But I think we only spent like probably 5,000
Okay.
on ads on this site. So
two questions, Mike.
yeah.
Is this a prepper store? You don't have to answer that one. But the second question is, what is the minimum in terms of profit do you think we stand to make? Is it, I mean, just given the amount of back orders, which I'm not totally sure about, is it 10,000? Is it less, 15, 20? Like, what do you think is the minimum?
If we make less than 10%, I'll be surprised. 10% gross revenue.
Okay.
So yeah, it's around 15,000.
Okay.
And I'm kind of just throwing things out there, but because we only spent, 5,000 in ads, you're looking at a 30x return on ad spend. So it's not a lot of ad spend that's cutting into the margin.
Right.
So
Right. So that's good.
yeah,
Nothing to sneeze at.
nothing to sneeze at.
All right, let's move on. So this is a store we own 50% of this. So we each own 25%. So the total sales is 266, 638, and 11 cents. So that's a lot of sales. What's happening?
Yeah, it
here?
is. This is a high volume site. It's a lot of work, but yeah. So we split this with someone else, and if this didn't happen, the pandemic did not happen, I truly think this would have did over 300K in sales. Just based on the revenue numbers from last year this time, we did like 150,000 in sales last year. And for the first week or two, we were basically doubling what the sales were at that current time in the month. So yeah, I'm pretty confident this would have did over 300K, but it is what it is. And even after, that sort of, I don't know what you want to call it. We can just look at the middle of the month. And so if you're just listening to this, you can see in the middle of the month, it kind of dips down, but it really does pick back up. And then towards the end of the month, it was just going wild. We had a 20K day, 15K days, 10K days. So, nothing to sneeze at. And historically, the store does get about 10% profit based on gross revenue. So hoping it's about 26,000. And then we would get half of that, so 13,000.
Cool. You said 10% of gross revenue? Is that what you said? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is a bit of a lower margin store, I guess, probably because of the ad spend, right? Is that the major driving force between the lower margins? I know a lot is spent on this store in a given day.
Yeah. It's not irregular for us to spend $1,000 a day advertising on this store.
Right.
So I think we spent less than that this month, for sure, less than $1,000 a month average. But again, so you're looking at a 10x return on ad spend, meaning we probably spent somewhere around 25,000 and did close to 250,000.
Cool. Can we give some, I guess, what makes this store so different than the other stores where the ad spend is so much higher? And did it get there overnight, or was this something that we ramped up? I'm asking a viewer what a viewer might want to know.
Yeah, and so out of really, well, we had that store that did 140,000 that we talked about beforehand that we acquired in 2018, but the one that did 175,000, that one is older than this store, and so it is something that we did relatively quickly compared to, say some of the other operations we've run. And, the reasons, you can go into a bunch of reasons, but I think this store, we did get lucky in terms of, our suppliers. We have some good suppliers that we have good margins on. And it's something that we have a lot of products that convert generically. And so we talk about in our course and, on podcasts that you have different ways to convert. You have, branded search terms that you show up for Google Shopping on, but you also have generic terms. And so it is important to segment in your advertising campaigns. And if I'm speaking gibberish, then please, check out our course, buildassetsonline.com/asset. And, we have our ads training in there, but this store does convert well for generic terms. And so if you understand, essentially, I give the example of like toaster ovens. People search for Cuisinart toaster ovens, and people will just search for toaster ovens. And the term itself, toaster oven, is going to have way more volume than Cuisinart toaster oven or any other brand name. It's just how long tail works. There's going to be less searches depending on how specific the search is. So this has a lot more search volume to dip into, and since it's converting well, then we can maximize more of that.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, so let's move on. This is a store we own 10% of. What fun. So
this is the passive income right here.
Yeah. So the total sales, we don't read the gross sales because this by the way, this Shopify report is different than the other one. The gross sales in Shopify is before the discount. So if like someone uses a coupon code, so when we're talking about our numbers, we never talk about the gross sales. We talk about the total sales. But for some reason, this screenshot shows the gross sales and the total sales, but we only talk about the total sales. And that's what the other screenshots were. So
yeah, I only have this login on my phone, so I couldn't even go and do it the other way.
Yeah. So the total sales were $77,939.18.
Yeah, and so not too much to say about this. I'm pretty encouraged by this actually. We've done a lot of work on the advertising, and I don't think the store is a year old yet. So I think as we get into the summer, hopefully everything clears up. This should be able to hit six figures. But a few months ago, the store had a big problem where its products were pretty seasonal, and we were really only selling one type of thing. So, the majority owners did a good job of really expanding and broadening their horizons as we teach in our course, and they're really reaping the benefits of it because most of these sales did not come from those seasonal
and to be clear, this is two of our students that we kind of decided to take it. We kind of came to an agreement where we're taking 10% of this store in exchange for like consulting and like those kind of things. So it's good because we don't really do much, and not much to say about it. But we're talking about building assets here. You don't have to own a majority of every asset. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that you just collect a check for, it's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, definitely nothing to sneeze at. And I was told, the profit should be somewhere around 10K. I'm hoping that's the truth. So for us, it's an extra $1,000 for not doing much, and I'm certainly not going to sneeze at it. So
no, me neither. All right, guys, Kindle publishing. The course is coming so soon. Mike has told me he's the one that's holding us back. I'm gonna be honest with you, but he has told me that we are going to do it very soon, and that is a commitment. Like, how soon, Mike? How soon can we release the Kindle publishing course?
I don't know. I'm getting bullied by everyone that's just asking for this course, so I have no choice but to oblige. Um, so this month, last month, March, we allegedly made about $11,000 in royalties. Some there, we made some money off of Audible as well, probably just a couple $100. But this is actually down from the previous few months, and we got paid in March. We got paid for January because of how the Kindle royalties work. So we actually collected 25,000 in March.
Right.
But so we had, in Kindle, you have box sets that typically really outperform and make up the majority of your revenue over time. And in the course, it'll go into all this. So when you launch box sets, they typically do a lot better, at least the way that we do it. And then your revenue kind of tails off until you launch another box set. So this revenue for the next few months after March should be higher. We actually have one that's going right now, and it is in the top 100 romance, Joe. It's also in the
got
top
there?
100
It got there?
Well, of romance, not
Okay.
of Kindle.
Okay.
It's in the top 100 new releases for Kindle. I think it's like number 40 something right now.
Okay.
But I'm happy. It doesn't have to go into the top 100 every time, and it's probably a lot of extra effort. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with this.
I have a plan. I have a plan for next big launch. I think I realized how to spend more money without increasing the amount per click, and that's really the bottleneck when it comes to getting into the top 100 on the paid store, is that once you start increasing your spend, these are Facebook ads, by the way. Once you start increasing your spend, you have to pay more per click usually. But I have a few tricks up my sleeve. I'm working on to do that. It involves around like expanding the audience that we target. Did we read out the number for this? It was 11,090. Yeah, you did say it earlier. But why did you say allegedly, Mike? Just so that's clear. The reason he said that is because Amazon takes 60 days to pay you. So we don't like to,
And also the way that, the majority of this, so if you're watching, you'll see that there's a red line and a blue line.
Yeah.
And so the red line is like purchase books. So that's just something someone will buy for 99 cents or $2.99. But the rest of that, which is the blue, is page reads. So since we're doing fiction, the majority of our money comes from money that we get by people just reading. People have Kindle Unlimited subscriptions. And so you sign up for Kindle Unlimited or Kindle Select as an author, and Amazon will pay you per page based on what was read. And that rate changes every month. It fluctuates by a few cents or fractions of cents every month.
Got it. All right. So moving on from Kindle publishing, the course is coming real soon. We promise. I think, can we say by the end of April something's gonna happen?
End of April?
Yeah.
All right, fine.
All right. So this is the global earnings summary for the Amazon associates. Honestly, a little low. A lot of stuff didn't ship. I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at, I guess, but it says for the listeners, $3,863.82 globally on Amazon Associates. It's across like 3 or 4 main sites, and it's not much to say about it other than just Amazon affiliate, like stuff like.
Is this royalties or what is this considered?
Well, on the W-9 it says non-employee compensation.
Okay.
So, yeah, mostly long tail keywords. We expect this number to. So this number has gone up drastically since last year. We were really flopping at this for a while, but I think we got it under control now. And the content sites have more revenue streams besides this as well.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of stuff didn't ship, and I think spending in this type of thing has like halted. People aren't necessarily buying a lot of the trinkets that people would buy on Amazon. Yeah. And I mean, it's still nothing to sneeze at because it's pretty passive. This, whatever you do to build onto a content site, doesn't necessarily impact this, right?
Yeah.
Because no matter, whatever you did in the month of March, you would have earned this regardless. So you could have taken that month off and done whatever and played, World of Warcraft, and still would have made a decent living. That's 3,800 times 12 is
Yeah, I think
what?
this
Probably like
for a lot of niches, this
$5,000.
tends to be a low. I mean, pandemic aside, this isn't the best month for Amazon associates. The best months come around Q4, obviously for most niches. But yeah, this is kind of like a low month in general, pandemic aside.
But actually, that's the point I wanted to bring up is this is like really, really important stuff to understand right now is that we're in the middle of like a really bad economic situation. And I think it'll pick back up very quickly once it, gets sorted out. But people are losing their jobs right now. 6 million people filed for unemployment because their one source of income, their job, is not going to pay them anymore.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we have all these websites that some go up, some go down, and we're still able to pay our employees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. So.
Yeah, I mean, you can't help but I honestly feel kind of bad if that's the situation that you're in, and I know it's just a matter of like, obviously there's your life circumstance and things like that, but understanding a little bit about like financial education, I think is very valuable because, like Mike said, you should always be trying to like grow your sources of income, like whether you're even like from the time you start working, like as a teenager. Like it's a shame that, I mean, and not to say that I was doing that kind of stuff as a teenager, but it's a shame that most people just don't. It's just not something they're thinking about early on, and it's one of those things where if you kind of get started on this journey, it doesn't even have to be online income, just developing different sources of passive income early on, like when you're young. I think it can pay large dividends as to when you're older, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, people who are diversified right now are really kind of reaping the benefits of that. Even if their money is going down, they're in a lot better of a position than someone whose 401k got cut in half, and they don't know what their payment situation is going to be for the next couple months. So, we kind of don't talk about this a lot, but you can see how having all these different parts of your portfolio and having multiple points of failure really comes in handy at these times.
Yeah, I think multiple points of failure is the key term. You want to be like the Parthenon.
Parthenon, right.
A lot of columns. All right, moving on. This is from Skim Links, another affiliate platform. So you can like link to like Wayfair. This is from the blog sites again. So $615.14. Just add that on to the Amazon affiliate money. So this is more revenue for the blog.
Up 80% though.
Yeah. I mean, we get some big sales on this stuff every now and again. We'll get like $100 plus commissions on stuff from Wayfair and stuff like that. So we don't have as many as many like articles dedicated to stuff like this as we do stuff on Amazon, but so that's what it comes down to. So
yeah, nothing to sneeze at.
Nothing to sneeze at.
But also, it would be interesting to like, instead of a dropshipping store, just use Skimlinks and Wayfair and all the high ticket sort of big box stores, and just do a strictly high ticket dropshipping style blog or content site. And
well, we've had multiple discussions about doing that. I don't know why we never did it. Honestly, I just
I think we were kind of trying to feel it out when we first got into Skimlinks, and
yeah,
obviously with these content sites it takes a while for stuff to kick in. But if someone listening or watching this wants to finance that endeavor, then please leave a comment or send us an email. And,
wants to finance it. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Give us a few $1,000s and we'll do it, and then they get a percentage.
All right, sounds good. All right. Moving on here. This is Clickbank. We own 50% of this. So total, I don't even know how to read this. How much money do we make? I think the amount of money we make is $443.22, but divided by two.
Yeah.
So another 200 and something dollars. Really nothing to sneeze at. Made a video, a Clickbank tutorial on our YouTube channel. Definitely go check that out. Show you exactly how we did it. But yeah, this is a site we basically built for free. That's
but also this is it's kind of just getting started.
Yeah. This site is only
really
4 or 5 months old, I think. I don't think it's 6 months old yet, but yeah, very, very new site. It's got about 40 blog posts, just all SEO and affiliate links on Clickbank. That's all it is.
Yeah, and so, like a lot of these other sites that are earning the ad commission and Skimlinks, Amazon Associates, when they were 4 to 5 months old, they probably were not even making this much.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not. So, yeah, there's been a lot of.
This is very encouraging in terms of typical content site growth. So
yeah, this site is kind of made me realize a lot of things. Kind of set the tone for how to build a content site from the ground up. Just because this site gets, I think it gets like 900 to 1,000 visitors a day currently. And so that's been able to happen very, very quickly. And that's just, I learned a lot from doing this site and seeing exactly how it worked and the keyword selection and stuff like that. And, we shared it on the Clickbank tutorial on our YouTube channel. So check that out. So another 200 or so. Nothing to sneeze at. Let's move on here.
Oh.
Okay, so this is Mediavine. For the listeners, $1,180.44. This is for our first content site that we ever made. So, as you can see, it's a shame if you're looking on the chart, the sessions are going, real upward trajectory, but the RPM, the ad rates are going down. So this is something that was definitely impacted by the pandemic. So
yeah, interesting. I like this. We should do this more often. I don't even get to see this type of stuff.
Yeah. I don't think you've ever seen this. Yeah. So it's
it's interesting to see how, I think the content sites have probably taken a negative trajectory because of this.
Yeah.
In terms of, but what I'm gonna say is they were really on the way up, and they're still kind of going up if you look relative to probably the earnings over time.
Yeah.
But these would have been a lot higher.
Well, John from Fatstack's blog, the way he looks at it, despite pandemic stuff, he's happy if his sites stay like stable throughout the year, and then go up during Q4. Like he wants to know that his Q4 from the current year beat the previous year, and that he sees very small increments in during these kind of months versus the previous year. So it's really something, what I'm saying is really something that's more like you can compare this March with last March. It's hard to compare month over month because these ad rates, they do fluctuate. So this is another site on Mediavine, $151.36. Not too bad. Not much to say about it. As you can see, sessions going up. Almost had 1,000 sessions on this site.
What site is it, Joe? Can you?
It's the second content site that we ever made. So it's got
first letter A.
It's got a lot of different stuff on it.
Okay.
It's got a lot of different.
This is more of a Q4 performer.
Yeah. In terms of ads, but that site though drove most of that Skimlinks revenue. So I think
Oh,
that
okay.
site is definitely making over 1,000 per month or close to it when you add everything up.
Interesting.
But yeah, um, this site is definitely, yeah, it's more of a Q4 performer, but it's evening out definitely in terms of what it does. And yeah, I think it
Do you
is
see do you see RPMs go up in Q4?
absolutely, absolutely,
Okay.
yeah,
And so for those, I don't know if we explained that. RPM is basically earnings per thousand, so
yeah,
or revenue per mille,
yeah,
which is 1,000 in standardized scientific terms. So yeah, it looks like here it's saying $8.22 RPM. So for every 1,000 visitors, you can expect to get around $8 in ads.
yeah. Cool.
And this also varies by market, by niche. There's a lot of reasons why this would fluctuate by ad network. It's just kind of like almost like a stock market. It's driven by the advertisers, how much they're willing to pay, the demands of traffic, and different situations.
Yeah, it is driven by demand. That's the main thing. And around Q4, you just have so many people wanting to advertise. And
Yeah.
interestingly, like we're talking about yesterday with Facebook ads right now. So we did a book launch yesterday for Kindle Publishing, and clicks did seem cheaper than normal until I may have cranked up the ads too high, and then they kind of normalized. But overall, I think because of the pandemic, you're actually seeing this in real life in terms of like clicks in certain areas are definitely being cheaper, especially on
Mm.
places like Facebook. Okay, so this is a seasonal site on Mediavine that earned $10.33. You can see the sessions kind of dropped off. This one, this one, this is a site I put like 25 blog posts on it and then like didn't do anything else, and it earns a good amount in like Q4, but yeah, it's very seasonal. At this,
And some of that was factored into the Amazon Associates,
yeah,
correct?
some of it, yeah. The
I
site,
mean, probably a very small amount, but
yeah, at this point, actually, I think because of the pandemic, it got a lot of returns on Amazon. I noticed. So
huh.
I don't know if it didn't earn it. I don't think it earned a negative or anything like that. But I'm just saying that this site is definitely down as a result of like season and pandemic. So
Yeah, well, $10, nothing to sneeze at. It's a
no,
couple of cups of coffee. If I can go out and get coffee.
yeah. But going off on a little bit of tangent here, Mike, for the listeners, I actually don't recommend it's if you haven't done any of this before and you haven't built an online business and maybe you are like at your job and you do have that single source of income, doing stuff like going out and getting a coffee is not recommended. I think you really need to embrace frugality. I definitely did that a lot when I was at my job. Like I refused to spend any money, and just so that I can kind of build up like enough of a war chest and like an investment portfolio and like put money into the business. So that's really a topic for another episode. But I'm talking. I don't know if you've heard of that guy Dave Ramsey, Mike, but he's kind of
Mr. Money Mustache.
no, yeah. Well, oh, I just hit the camera. But Dave Ramsey is kind of that guy. Basically, like don't spend money on anything. Like throw out your credit cards, zero debt.
Oh,
And I'm not saying you should. Some of that stuff might not be the best advice, but I think the advice of spending your money like where it actually matters on building more streams of income. That's how that's the best way to do it, and to not have multiple points of failure, rather than spending your money where most people spend their money, which is like going out to eat, buying coffee, buying furniture, like things you don't need. So
yeah. I mean, I think that for some people, like they want some things. Like I totally agree. You should not be spending money like frivolously, but for me, like, all right, I'm putting in all this work. Like, I want a cup of coffee.
well, it's a ratio. It's a ratio thing. It's a matter of ratio. It's a matter of
Okay.
ratios. You gotta. be investing and putting back a very large percentage
Yeah.
of your income. And if
Yeah, I'll say the majority of money that I spend is on coffee and restaurants.
yeah, but
So
as long as the ratio is there and you're, you know, you're
yeah,
saving more and you're investing more, then it's not, the rest is up to you. The rest is up to you. But unfortunately, for some people, they might have to be a little more frugal, at least at the beginning. I mean,
oh yeah,
I definitely was. I definitely was. I mean, I still am to this day. The only thing I really buy is groceries. But anyway, let's move on. We're getting off on a tangent here. This site is not doing so well. This is Monometric. I recently put this site back on Monometric. This does have a few other income streams, but
Monometric, for those who are listening or maybe not familiar, is another ad network. So the other platforms that we were looking at were Mediavine,
yeah,
Media Thrive, whatever you call it.
yeah,
this is just a different quote unquote premium ad network that gives you supposedly higher RPMs. So yeah,
I think it's just the ad rates are taking a hit. So not much to say about it. I actually just put it on Monometric, so it could take a little bit to optimize and build back up, but $97.65. And that was it. Oh, I think there's another ad network, New Or Media, where we earned about $80 for another content site, but I didn't add that. So
they get the idea.
They get the idea. So, honestly,
we're not doing this to blow our own horn here, but it is just to kind of give you an idea of what our days look like and kind of what our portfolio looks like. So what did you think of that, Joe?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good episode to do. I mean, it kind of makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie, just because I feel bad. Like, I feel bad that maybe people didn't have the education. They weren't exposed to the right ideas early on, and for some, it's pretty tough right now, I would imagine. So, but I hope.
Yeah, this is certainly by no means us trying to like flex anything. And you know what? Like, to be honest, a lot of this money we just put right back into the business, and
yeah,
it's not like we take this and we go and just buy Ferraris or coffee, or I mean, I buy a lot of coffee, but you get the idea. We are certainly grateful for this, and it did take us a lot of failure to get to this point. This is like 5 years in the making, and a lot of this growth has been within the last year or two.
Yeah.
So, it's just continual effort, and it's continual compounding, and once you kind of figure out how things work, then you can, like I said, just copy and paste it. And yeah.
It is a matter of ratios, because you know what? It's not only the people that maybe they work at a restaurant or they deliver pizza and that's their only job, and like those aren't the only people that like end up like broke in these kind of situations. It's also the people who can potentially be making a lot of money, but they spend it all. Like maybe they earn $200,000 a year, but they have like huge car payments, huge house payments, things they can't afford. And then because their income ratios are off, they're like spending very close to what they take in, or maybe even a little bit more than what they take in, and they have a single point of failure. So you combine the ratios being off with the single point of failure, and that's a recipe for disaster. Whether you're making $15K a year or $200K a year, it's a big part of the puzzle. I know this wasn't the scope of this episode, but I still think it's important.
I think it's important. This is kind of what Build Assets Online is all about. I think this is we got to the heart of showing you what's possible. Just working for a while on building different assets, and just really the mindset that goes into it, because this has been a lot of reinvestment. Not we did this because we really tried to not put a lot of money into expenses, like unnecessary expenses and unnecessary living.
Yeah. All right. So we will wrap it up there, guys. BuildAssetsOnline.com/playbook if you want our free course. buildassetsonline.com/asset to learn how we do the dropshipping stuff, and buildassetsonline.com/membership if you want to work with us one-on-one. And we don't have the Kindle one yet, but in the next few episodes, we will be, maybe in the next week or so, we will have a Kindle URL that you can go to.
Yeah, we should do like a wait list or something.
Yeah. You know what? Let's announce it now. buildassetsonline.com/Kindle. Sign up for the wait list. Or if you check it out later, the details on the course will be there. So, yeah. That's about it for now, guys. And we will see you later.
Take it easy.